Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and a very quick start or introduction to this video that I'm filming on the 24th of July. Don't know when the actual video will be released, because it depends on the next stages. Now, I bought yesterday some pieces of fresh durian to do a tasting video, which obviously I would have already released, because I don't know when this one's going to come out. But it turned out that the pieces of flesh had some seeds in them, as you can see, 4 seeds. Now, I just thought it'd be fun to try and germinate them. They may or may not be viable. There's no sure way of knowing, because it depends. This one looks small. The main problem will be if they've been chilled or dried out or frozen, then they won't be viable whatsoever. So I thought we'd have a go anyway, just to see. Now, I took them out of the flesh and I've left them in water overnight, because if they're allowed to dry out the seeds, they lose their viability very quickly. So what I thought I'd do to try and germinate these is just basically put them onto damp cotton wool like this. Now, if they do, you can see a little bit of splitting there. If they germinate, they tend to be very, very quick germinators from experience. They'll normally germinate within a sort of 1 or 2 weeks. So I'm going to put them on here. I don't think leaving them soaking in water is particularly the best thing to do, but I shall put the 4 seeds in here and then close them, just put a lid over the top to keep the humidity in, and I will check them every 2 or 3 days, and if there's anything interesting to see, obviously I will feature it in update videos as we progress. I did germinate them before, so you might have seen a previous video about 3 or 4 years ago, and the seedlings germinated but didn't last very long because they're ultra tropical and they're very tricky to look after. But I'll try some different ideas this time to see if I can keep them alive for a little bit longer than I did last time, because they are a very attractive house plant. They will of course never fruit, probably looking at 20 years from seed to fruiting stage, so I will be long gone, and it's unlikely I could keep one alive more than a few months anyway. But I'll see you in the next part of the video to see if we've had any luck. So welcome back to the second part of the video. Now, believe it or not, I'm filming this on the 26th of July, so 2 days after the first part, and look at what we've got in here already. These are unbelievable. These seeds from these plants, quite remarkable. I think I'm going to transfer them into a deeper container and put more cotton wool over them, because I don't want the seed roots to dry out, and I don't think there's enough moisture in here. I'll have to try and find a deeper container. But these durian seeds really are remarkable. The fact that they've germinated within 2 days, and obviously I'm going to do further updates, but I think they need to be kept moister, so probably some cotton wool on top of them. So I'll look for a deeper container, get some more cotton wool, cover them up, and might have to put cling film on them, because I don't think I've got any deeper containers with lids, and we'll keep them nice and moist, and obviously give you another update in 2 or 3 days time. Welcome back. So this is the very next day, the 27th, and basically I'm going to transfer them. I've decided 2 seeds to these deeper pots, because the pots are too shallow for the plants to send roots down in. So you can see how quickly that's developing. So basically I'm going to put that on there, that one on there, because I just need enough room to send the seeds down. This one here, I'm thinking I'm just going to break that seed end off to help the root out, because I don't want it to damage the end of it. I'll put that one on there. Same on this one, just going to take the cap off the seed so the root doesn't strain. These do grow in a very sort of unusual way. Basically that's going to allow me to put a little bit more cotton wool now on top of and around the seeds to help with the humidity. As I said, this is filmed only the day after. This is the 27th of July when I'm doing this. I'm just going to put some cotton wool around the roots to keep them nice and humid, because I think they don't want to dry. I don't want them drying out. Should be enough now. And it won't stop them developing. And once the roots are down properly and the shoots start to appear, I'll probably transfer them to pots and see what happens. So let's get the lids back on these. So all these little stars that are left over from my birthday. So we'll cover those up. And that's, as I said, is the 27th, and we'll see you in the next part of the video. So next part of the update, we're on the 30th of July when I'm filming these. These are the deeper containers and more cotton wool that I had to move the seeds into. So let's have a look and see how they're looking. Let's just lift one of these out. So you can see the root running. Got to be gentle, don't want to be breaking it. You can see the roots starting to grow down into the cotton wool. So what I'm going to have to do is obviously decide. They can't stay in here for long because there's no depth for the roots to go down into. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, they're all starting to put that root extension out at the bottom. So any time now, these are going to have to be moved into compost, and I'll just have to decide how long to leave them before I actually move them down. Another update in the next 2 or 3 days, and then I think I'll have to make a decision about what type of compost to put them into. And basically you just lay them on the top of the compost and let the root find its way down, and then the shoots lift out of the back of the seed. So we'll cover these up, put them back inside, and obviously as soon as I do the update, I'll put the date on it. And the only problem we'll have possibly with these is once they're actually moved out, it's the problem's going to be the humidity, because I won't be able to keep them in a covered container like this. So I'll see you in the next part of the video. So I've left it a few days now to give the seeds a chance to sort of progress further, and I'm now filming this on the 6th of August. So we can have a look at them and see where they've got to and make a decision about what to do. Now, I think it'll be quite clear when we look at these that these are taproot seeds. Let's have a look at this one here. Now we can see this has clearly got to the stage now where they need to be potted. I can't possibly leave them in the cotton wool anymore. Let's have a look at this one as well. What we don't want to do is snap the taproot off the end. That would not be beneficial to the health of the seed. So look at that. Now all 4 of them are looking exactly the same. So what I've decided to do, obviously I'm going to repot them today. See if we can get this one out without damaging the root, because they're in quite a shallow pots here. I'm going to repot these right now, and what I've decided to do is I'm going to put 2 of them in the 511 style mix that I use for the citrus, which is a sort of a very open, mostly pine bark mix, and I'm actually going to put 2 of them into a regular high quality potting compost and nothing else. I think the main reason I've lost these before is lack of humidity and probably overwatering them in winter, which caused the roots to rot on them. But I'm going to put them in deep pots. I'm not really a fan of deep pots normally because they take a long time to dry out, but I think given that these are clearly taproot plants, that they may benefit from being in deep pots. And what I'll actually be doing is literally just planting them on the surface with just the tap roots under the surface. So I shall just pause the video and get myself organised and get some compost together, and then you can have a look at what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'll flip the camera around for you now so you can kind of watch what I'm attempting to do with these durian seeds. I'll dip the camera now, so rather than watching me, which is a hideous sight you don't want to see, you will be able to hopefully see what I'm attempting to do. So I said I'm going to use two different types of compost. One is kind of a 5-1-1 style mix. Like that there. And basically what I'm going to try and do with this, if I can manage to do it without damaging the plant, is I'm going to hold the seed near the top and then drop the compost round it. I can do that without making a horrendous mess, because I only want the seed to be just sitting on the surface of the soil, because these don't like to be buried, and you can actually watch the shoots come out. Probably a better way of doing this, but this is how I'm doing it, because it's just a case of I really don't want to break off that root if I can help it. Okay, so let me show you what I've done. I've literally infilled around the root, and what I'm hoping is that will allow the once I water it, that will settle the soil around the root, and you just need to keep it moist really, because they don't like to be soaking wet, but also they don't like to be, if they dry out, they're not likely to succeed. And if we've got this right, this shoot very quickly will form a loop and bend out, and then the leaves will come up amongst it. And I'll just do the other one in the other type of compost. This is a very fibrousy compost that I buy at the moment from Garden, which seems to be of a reasonable quality. And I'm just going to make a little hole, because it's got a really long tap root on this one, and I just don't want to snap it if I can help it. I'm just going to support the top of the seed and put the compost around it. I mean, I really am not expecting these to last very long. They're ultra tropical. Even if they survive to the end of summer, it's highly unlikely that they would last winter. I've had them before and kept them alive for about 6 months, and then they just gradually go downhill, but I think I might have overwatered them last time. I would imagine they need a fairly acidic soil. This is actually quite neutral, so that's the other one. And I'll stop the video there for now, because you don't need to see me do the other two, and obviously get another update in a week or so's time, when hopefully the shoots will curl over and we'll start to see the seed leaves appear, so you can see how they look when that happens. So I'll see you in the next part of the video. Okay, so this is the next update. I haven't bought all the durians out, they're all progressing at a reasonable rate. This is now the 20th of August. They tend to slow down a little bit now, but you can probably just about see that the seed lays on the top, and the root goes down into the pot, and then the shoot starts to pull out of the seed that's resting on the bottom, and you can see now, probably a bit out of focus there because my finger's in the way, you can probably just about see the little leaflets down in the bottom here, and in the next week or two this should pull out and start to stand up straight. The stem's actually huge on this. Looking to me like I've probably not put it in a deep enough pot. There's no sign of any roots coming out the bottom yet. I've planted it in a deep pot deliberately because they do produce these very substantial roots when they're first first germinating, so that's the next update, and obviously I'll come back to you in the next stage of the video so you can see what happens in the next week or two. Hello everyone, so it's the 31st of August when I'm filming this. It's about 5 weeks after the first part of the video when the seeds were put in the cotton wool. Might be a bit disjointed because obviously I'm filming each section of the video apart. I can't remember what I've said in the last part. This is 2 of the Durian seedlings. One of them, the seed has fallen off today actually and left the leaflets behind. This one has still got the seed on with these little arms and the shoots coming out the middle. The other 2 seeds are some way behind this and may well be rotting off. This is the last video in the series. Main reason for that is it was just meant to document from sowing the seeds to the process of germination, transferring to pots, and the point where the first leaves started to appear. There probably won't be any further updates because this is normally as far as durians get here before the seedlings gradually die off, because they don't really cope well with our growing conditions. It's too cool for them. More importantly, it's not humid enough. It's too dry, especially as I'm growing these indoors. You can't put them outside at all here, even in summer really, because you could do on warm days for a few hours, but really they don't like our cool temperate conditions at all. But it's exciting just to grow to germinate the seeds for fun, so that you can see the strange process they have where the sort of the seed tends to stay on these seed leaves and then the shoot comes out the middle. I've actually got a little bit of polythene hanging on these at the moment in the kitchen to try and increase the humidity. They should really be in a proper humidity greenhouse. You could probably make something to cover them in like a polythene bubble permanently, but I haven't really got the time or the facilities to be doing that in my kitchen. It was more as I had some durian fruit about the fun of germinating the seeds, because the plants themselves are going to be very, very difficult to keep alive here over winter. More chance in the summer, of course, but nevertheless doesn't mean I'm not going to try. I've tried them on, these are in 2 different seed 2 compost mixes. This is in a regular sort of fibrous potting compost, and this is in what I normally use for the citrus, just to see if it makes any difference on whether or not they stay alive a little bit longer. I think the key in these is not to overwater them in winter, otherwise they're going to suffer fungus gnat attacks among other things, but keeping the humidity up is tricky for them without special humidifiers, or as I said, putting them into sort of polythene bubbles. But I thought I'd interest people anyway, as that's the last part of this series of videos. I hope you've enjoyed looking through and found it interesting. If you managed to get yourself some fresh durian seeds, have a go. Obviously if you've got a heated greenhouse, you might well better keep them alive permanently, but they do need to be kept above, absolutely definitely above 10 degrees centigrade, 50 Fahrenheit in winter to have any chance of them surviving the cold weather at all. So thanks very much for watching, much appreciate it. Again, please give me a thumbs up. Welcome to share the video if you think anybody would like to have a go at germinating durian seeds. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and remember that you have to click on that bell if you do want to be informed of new videos when they come out, and get updates on anything interesting I might have going on. I'll catch up with you all in the next video. Brett out for now.